안녕하세요. Hello. So this is a very, it's not an impromptu, but it kind of is an impromptu video because I got a question or a comment from a lovely babe asking me like what is my weekly Korean schedule or how to create a weekly Korean schedule. I think another question was like about my intonation, and like I don't think they said how did I master it because I have not mastered it, but you know, how can I practice my intonation, or how do I practice my intonation? I thought, oh, okay, cool, yeah, most def I will answer this question. I thank you guys always for asking me questions because that means you believe that I am qualified to answer to some degree, so thank you. This video is going to be just me telling you guys how you can create a weekly Korean study schedule, and then I have another video that I am currently filming of my Korean weekly study schedule. Be prepared. Be excited, get hyped. Okay, anyway, I'm sorry. So the main thing when it comes to studying, obviously for any language, not just Korean, is you want to study at these three main things: reading, writing, and speaking. Okay, so basically I'm gonna answer the questions that the lovely babe asked me. How do I structure my learning? Basically, it's like my class material mixed with whatever like grammar I want to learn, and the grammar, it normally stems from things that I've heard while watching variety shows. The grammar point 때문에 like stuck out to me, so then I would go through the many books that I have to search for that grammar point and then learn more about it and then incorporate it into what I have learned with my my class. The only reason why I don't do that so much now is because when I tend to do that, I use what I have learned on my own in class, and sometimes that's not the best thing to do because I'm not at that level in class. Like I told you guys in one of my vlogs, I read out my homework to my class, and my teacher was like, well, we're not on there yet. And for me, it feels like when I do self-study, I study more advanced things because I might be at a higher level, but while I'm in class, I try to only use what we are currently learning and not adding more like advanced things in there because I don't want to, you know, rush the class or anything or confuse like my classmates. If I do look up grammar, it's mainly like the grammar that the teacher lightly talks to us about in class. When we were going over like an grammar point, 안 먹어요, 안 봐요. She introduced us to 지 않나요, 먹지 않나요, 보지 않나요, 얻지 않나요. So if anything, I will look up like 지 않나요 and like get more, you know, understanding and practice with that grammar point. It was like a long weird like answer. Oh yeah, another way that I used to structure my learning when I wasn't in class but when I was self-studying was I would use syllabuses from schools, from language schools, because most of the time language schools, they put their syllabus of like what the material that you will be learning in their class if you choose to sign up on their website. So I would take that and then just follow that. I don't know if they do it like anymore because I honestly feel like I went to my schools and I think they took the syllabus down. So you have to like kind of check for yourself, but if you just like Google like Korean language school syllabus, I'm pretty sure some will like pop up. Look at their syllabus, go to like Korean 1 and you know, start the first week and work your way down. How do I fix my intonation? So I said, ow! So for those of you that don't know, intonation is the tone in which you speak a language. Obviously for Korean, it is a more, people say whiny, and I guess it is. For me, I would consider it like a songy. It's like you're singing when you're speaking. In Korean, they drag out a lot of words like, oh, 몰라요, 몰라요, 너무 da-da-da-da-da. And if I'm like talking to my mom, I'll be like, yeah, I guess, or I carry my words over like how you would do in Korean. And that primarily stems, for me personally, that stems from me watching a lot of Korean media, mainly variety shows. Dramas, you can get that same thing too, but I do feel like dramas, they give you a slightly over exaggerated you know, example of speaking Korean. I do believe some Koreans, men and women, do act the way that they act in dramas, like the, oh, like I do believe that because I see it in variety shows, but I would not primarily get my intonation practice from dramas. I would do it more from variety shows because it is a perfect example of how daily spoken Korean is how daily Korean is spoken in, like, you know, everyday settings, or like with other, you know, with other people. Watch a ton of Korean media, not just K-pop. Yes, if you're trying to fix your intonation, or if you want to, you know, practice your intonation, K-pop is not the best way to do it, because that isn't casually spoken Korean, that isn't everyday spoken Korean. They're singing or rapping or screaming, so that's not really going to help you with, you know, when it comes to getting like that vocal inflection. Is that the word? Some shows that I am watching, or that I have watched, is Rented in Finland. I just got finished watching that show. That was so funny. I love that show so much. Like, the rewatch value of it is so high. I might like rewatch it again. Not only because of Chalona, but that one actor, Donghui, I think that's his name. He was so funny. Like, their chemistry, it was just perfect. But anyway, The Village Barber, Make Your Dream, Pure Life. Yeah, those are just like some to like name a few. I do have a video on my page of me giving you guys variety shows that I love to watch. I think one issue that a lot of foreigners have when it comes to intonation is that they try to force this persona that may not be them while they're speaking Korean. I'm treading lightly. Let me see if I can get an example. So, you know, in K-dramas, it's everyone, but obviously I'm a girl, so I'm gonna talk about girls' behavior. Some women, they have, you know, really cute mannerisms, and I can't talk. Instead of trying to perfect your pronunciation and intonation, people just want to copy the mannerisms because it's cute. And I get it, it is cute, but I think a lot of times people want to emulate that more than they want to emulate how to actually speak properly. I think if people practiced pronunciation and intonation more than just mannerisms, it will work out. Does that make sense? Because I see people all the time, whether it be when I was on TikTok or again in class, where they'll be like, oh my god, and it's like that's great, but I would hope people wouldn't just look at the Korean language and Koreans as like characters, like an anime character. I would say practice on just mimicking the words first and let the mannerisms come naturally, because they will. When you are immersed in a culture, any culture, you will pick up on people's mannerisms. Like, it is what it is. But when you are a part of said culture, you can pinpoint when things are authentic and when you were just trying because you think it looks cool, cute, hip, popular, whatever. And I see that happening a lot with Korean and also Black culture, but you know, because I'm Black, so I see it a lot. But besides the point, intonation will come when your pronunciation is good. Pronunciation is how you actually say a word. 안녕하세요. That's the pronunciation. Well, not that, but you know, you can Google the correct pronunciation of 안녕하세요. I saw when people were watching Singles Inferno, I believe, 2 contestants were speaking when they were saying hello. They said 안녕하세요 sounded like 나세요 because the I was so like light. That is intonation. 안녕하세요, intonation. 안녕하세요, pronunciation. Got it? Kind of? Okay, cool. How to increase my vocabulary. I've said this in a plethora of videos, but one of the mistakes that I have made while learning Korean was that I didn't focus on vocab, which is not good. If you are a beginner, focus on learning vocab. Don't focus on grammar so much, because even if you have all the grammar points, you won't be able to speak Korean because you have no vocab to, you know, fill out your sentences. I do have a book. I use 500 words in Korean. But Talk to Me in Korean. I got that book years ago. You don't necessarily need to buy a book. You can always go on YouTube. Or I also will recommend my school, the book that we use, 세종 한국어. There's ebooks. I'll put the link in my description so you can check that out. But it is a completely free ebook. You can go through it, and each lesson has vocabulary. So for you, if you're just starting out with vocabulary, you can look up words that pertain to yourself. How do you look? How's your hair type? Is your hair curly? Is it straight? Is it long? Are you blonde, brunette, purple hair? You can look up words regarding like your environment. 침대, computer, 책상. You can look up words pertaining to like your morning routine. So it kind of like depends on what you want to start learning about first, or what you want to start talking about first. YouTube is like the perfect place right now to learn Korean for free. Like, you don't need classes, you don't need a book, you can just use YouTube. So a way to create a weekly Korean study is to, one, determine how many days you want to study throughout the week. You can do every day if you want to, or you can start off with once a week, twice a week, whatever your schedule and your willpower allows you to. For me, because I have classes on a certain day, I know that, okay, so on this day, I'm gonna have class, meaning I'm gonna be studying all three of those things: reading, writing, and speaking. You map out your week, and there's 7 days in a week, and you decide when you want to study. If you wanna go for every day, go for every day. All the days that you pick, try to focus on reading, speaking, and writing. If you're doing 30 minutes a day, on each of those days, do 10 minutes of reading, 10 minutes of writing, and 10 minutes of speaking. If you do that mixed with whatever syllabus you're following, your Korean will most definitely improve. But the best thing is just to try and just to start. Oh, that was another one. I think they talked about their speaking is still at a certain level and they want it to, you know, become better. The best way to improve your speaking is to just speak. I know, wow, which is challenging. I don't have anyone to practice Korean with when I'm not at school. So in class, I try to speak a lot more, even if like we're on break. I think last week I asked my teacher on break, like, 선생님 어떤 음악 좋아하세요? And she was like, 저요? And I was like, 네. And she said she likes oldie 음악. And I was like, oh. I said, 혹시 픽마마 아세요? And then we started having a conversation about Korean music and variety shows and popular Korean artists that were like popular in like the 80s and 90s. And then when I'm not at class, when I'm at home, I speak Korean to my family. I've been doing this for like years, and that was cool because it actually helped my family learn Korean. If you want to practice your speaking, you have to speak. I know it feels awkward speaking either to yourself or speaking Korean in general because you don't want to get labeled anything. You don't want to be like, well, I'm not fantasizing, I'm not appropriating. You're not. You are learning about a culture and you're learning about a beautiful language that you like. But in order to get better at it, you have to speak it. I am getting impatient with my speaking because I want to be better at it. So I'm looking into starting ITALKI classes again. If you have the means to do so, I think getting a Korean tutor is so worth it. I personally love ITALKI. I have made a video about them. I have had my Korean tutor who was the sweetest person ever, and I got a lot of practice. He will try to like role play. He was like, we're at a cafe and I'm the worker. No, I think I was the worker, whatever. But he was like, okay, what do you say? And I was like, oh my gosh, this is hard. But it helped me a lot with my speaking. So again, if you have the means to do so, I would most definitely invest in a Korean tutor. If you don't, use the apps, the Hello Talks, the Tandens, the freaking use Tinder or Hinge. I don't know. I know it's hard. Trust me, just look at my page. I am the queen of procrastination. Studying Korean and then stopping because, you know, life happens, and studying and stopping again. Maybe you're dating a Korean, or there's Korean people in your family, or like whatever your reason is for learning Korean, that has to drive you in order to, you know, continue to press forward through the difficult times of learning Korean, because it is hard sometimes. So if you genuinely want to learn Korean, like golly, Miss Molly, I need to do it too. We need to get up and push ourselves. I pray that I continue to get better. Y'all, I'm trying. So that we can all freaking watch a variety show without subtitles. Right? I know. That will be the J. That we all win, okay? I will see you guys in my next video. Look out for part 2 of this video at some point. And I will see you guys later. 안녕. 다음에 봐요. 아이고. I told you.